if you're looking for a defense that can get you quick pressures like this, while also having extremely sound coverage in the back end, look no further than the nickel 2-4 out of the Minnesota Vikings defensive playbook. And I know that the nickel 2-4 is in a couple of other playbooks as well. I'm personally in the Minnesota Vikings simply because it has the nickel 2-4, which probably is my favorite defense, and I still think, or excuse me, not still think, but I think it is the best defense in the game. But it also has the nickel 3-3 odd that I dropped a couple of months ago. I know it's gained more exposure as more people have kind of, started adapting that nickel 3-3 odd defense. And I know it's been a little prevalent in the MCS ladders and the MCS tournaments. So I wanted to, give you guys a defense that wasn't as, heavily exposed, I guess, in the nickel 2-4. And then I found out this is probably my favorite defense in the game simply because you can get really good pressure on the quarterback, sending 4 and dropping 7 into coverage, while also having a nice 5-man blitz package that screams really fast, and you can still have good coverage in the back end with just 6. So here you guys know how I do a couple of clips. Well, I really have like 2 minutes of clips, and I really have more because I've been running this defense for a little minute and I've been loving it. I have so many clips of the blitz coming in like there, or just complete box bags like here, gun bust tight end, just coverage boxes. So yeah, this has really been a fun defense for me. So I wanted to give it to you guys. I'm gonna give you guys the ability breakdown of which is important for this defense. But also just how I run it kind of in game. But I want to show you guys this defense works in game. But if I had to sum this defense up in a couple of words, versatile, flexible, and sound, because I just feel like it's coverage rules that work kind of in real life that I applied from my real life experience playing football and learning about football and just applying it into game. So without further ado, I'll probably have one more clip here so you guys can kind of see. But I'll get into the breakdown soon. Peace. YouTube, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, like, comment, and subscribe. Today what I got for you guys is a defensive video. In the defense that I've been rocking for the last couple of weeks. I'm having a lot of fun. I feel like this is one of the better schemes that you could go out there, especially if you are looking to just run something a little off meta. And I'm not gonna say this is completely off meta, because I know there's a couple of pro players or aspiring YouTubers that run the nickel 2-4. But I don't think they run it quite like I do. A lot of I see is cover three cloud, stuff like that. I run a lot of match, and I blitz from match coverages. So quickly, I want to go over some key important what makes this scheme really as great as it possibly can be, and this is vital. Is abilities, and not just any abilities, but what you want to aim for is here on this defensive line. You see, I have Nakobe Dean, double or nothing. But the reason I have Nakobe Dean here is there is a certain blitz that I will run, or a little, like a sim pressure where he's dropping off the edge, and I want somebody kind of versatile. So I like Nakobe Dean at this spot, but you want to have 4 double or nothing. So he has double or nothing. Alex Wright, I think whatever his name is, double or nothing. Geno Atkins, double or nothing, and Will Anderson, double or nothing. So that's 3 AP on each of these D linemen. So that's 12 AP total right there that I use. And then I'll use something on my nickel. It's not super vital, maybe flat zone, I'm not sure. My linebackers don't have any abilities, but these two, they just play really, really well for me. So I don't really need any. And then I have Travis Hunter, who is actually a receiver at corner right here, but he has like the Iron Man, so he can kind of play both. And he has mid zone. And then my safeties is McCullum, Bates, and then Quinyon. None of them have abilities. But if you can get 4 double or nothings, and then whatever you want to put on the rest is up to you. But that's really key. And if you want to run it the exact way I run it, I'm going to show you guys my adjustments. So click your right stick in, and you want to have them set up like this, and then sometimes conservative here. And then what I like to do, and this is something kind of new for me too, is I'll go pinch, and my safety midpoint will be strong. And the reason for that is when I'm facing like a trips style formation, I want to have both of my safeties kind of towards the trips, and they're not going to be too far to the trip side, but there'll be enough to where I'm comfortable. And then lastly, for shell, you want to go over to the cover 4 shell. That's to give the same 2 high alignment pretty much every time, so they kind of don't know what coverage you're spinning into. Now I'll just show you my audibles. Quarters, cover 6, 3 Buzz Mabel, and cover 9. In the cover four shell is key for this cover when I do run this cover three, because sometimes this play is a single high, and I want to keep it from too high so that they can kind of, not see the safety running down Robin the middle of the field, or sometimes he'll match. So yeah. Now I like to base out of quarters, but it all depends on what offense I'm facing. So I'm in air raid playbook, so I don't have a lot of meta stuff, because I have been running this spread wide slot and gun doubles. Really, really love those. But here I'll come out in tray offset, which is similar to trips tight end. It's not really the same, but it's a similar, kind of play or kind of formation. I'll just come out in China wide cop, just a play that has sending everybody out. And I'll respot the ball to the wide side, because a lot of people like their trips to the wide side. And so with this defense, right, what you're looking for is to get organic pressure from these front four, and you will get really good pressure, especially because a lot of offensive line abilities don't really counter double or nothing. But to set up the defense, and what I'll show you guys first is a lot of people like blitzes. So I'll start off with a blitz. And what you want to do is show blitz with your linebacker. So that's right on the D-pad, R1, and that brings them down to this alignment. And as you guys see, we have the safeties kind of like shading towards the strength. And that's if I am in cover three, this would be the inside third, and he's able to get over top of the number three receiver vertical. But that's neither here nor there. That also helps against bombs if you're in quarters, because he is assigned to this number three vertical again. But back to the blitz. So I like to blitz usually out of cover six, actually. So I'll audible to cover six, which it doesn't change alignment too much. But again, you want to show blitz with your linebackers. And you can blitz out of quarters too, but I just like to do it out of cover six. And what you want to do in this next, crash your D line. And so that's left on the D pad, slant inside, that's down on your right stick. And then you want to double tap D pad again, click X, and blitz him. That's all you need for the blitz. I like to take this linebacker and just like either mug this gap or mug over the center, just to get the center kind of looking. And right there, I didn't make any adjustments. I was trying to just show you guys the hover. But you guys seen the blitz came in, and I'll run it again this time from quarters. So boom, and it doesn't take long to set up, literally. And here, what I like to do also, I like to get a little aggressive. So I'll do something like this, a hard flat with that inside quarter dropping off. And I know immediately I'm sprinting to the slot receiver. So in this case, I may line up here so that I can sprint there. Boom. And if he's not immediately, that's a crazy animation. But if he's not immediately throwing to the flat, I'll go next replay, and I'll show you why this works. And this works from both sides. But this three tech, excuse me, right here, him crashing inside takes this guard with him. You see the guard follows him, right? And then you have the tackle, right, that's assigned to this edge defender. And who is assigned to this blitzer? If he blitzes, that's the running back responsibility, or you're hot. So if you're sending the running back out, he's going to scream up this gap, and you guys will see. I have a lot of clips in the beginning. He's going to scream, and you guys may be thinking, "Oh, the tight end's open." Oh, that's adjusted for, on the back end, depending on what your opponent's doing. I'm just trying to show you guys, a shell that I may use. Now, when it comes to different formations, that dictates what coverage I'm going to run and what I want to take away from that coverage. So for the trip style, I do like a cover six. So boom. And the reason for that is everybody's basically accounted for in man in a way. So you'll have this safety taking three vertical. You'll have the quarter flat taking two vertical, and then this one, this guy on the outside is manned up no matter what. Man everywhere he goes. This is man coverage, right? But then you have also built-in rules. Let's say three runs quickly to the flat. This quarter flat will take now three, and by three, I mean this receiver right here. If he runs quick to the flat, he will trap that, leaving this guy taking number two vertical, which is the guy over top of Cooper DeJean. And that may sound like a lot, but it really isn't too difficult. And it relieves kind of your user from having to jump to three quickly to the flat, unless number two also goes to the flat. And at that point, you have pretty much a 2-on-1 with your user and this guy from outside leverage, and you should be pretty fine there. And then backside, you're having what is called kind of a banjo. He's taking first inside, he's taking first outside, and then you have a safety over top. And so that's one way that I will guard trip style formations. Now, another way that I like to mix in, also, like I like all of these coverages for trips, honestly, depends on what your opponent is running. So This cover three again. This is why I like to have my safeties on strong so that he will align here. Because if this guy's dropping into the hook, he's not going to take three up the seam or up the vertical, right? But he will take him if he breaks to the corner, and he will take him if he breaks out. So he's kind of more for outside leverage, and this linebacker is more inside leverage of three, taking him on crossers or verticals. And I like to actually mix up my user. Sometimes I use the seam flat and I take the running back pretty much man. And what I'll do is I'll just put a soft squat there to take away either running back flat or the tight end flat, depending on, I kind of just play off of my soft squat. Or if you want, you can just man him up to the running back and you play man on the tight end with inside help by this hook curl or this inside third. So you're kind of play outside technique, taking away corner routes, anything like that. If he runs a drag or under, you can play that until he passes off to either of the hook curls. But this is a really malleable defense, a really flexible defense that just changes or morphs based on what your opponent is running. And this is why I really love this style of defense. It's not super blitz heavy or pressure heavy, but you can get pressure from the front four along with having a nice five-man pass rush. And then you have a defense that can morph from the back end depending on whatever offense you're facing. So again, I'll just show you guys cover three maybe versus maybe something like cluster, which is similar to bunch. I know I have that in here. It's more of a tight kind of offense, and I'll just run mesh. And you guys see how this play comes with a stock stunt. If you do face certain bunch defenses, which is kind of cool because it does give me a lot of pressures, and you can QB contain from this if you want to do that. But you'll see here sometimes what I'll do is I'll even run just cover through hard flat. So you can just kind of just mix up what you want to run depending on what your opponent is running. So here, this is a mesh. Hard flat would take that away. If you wanted to send a blitz from here, the blitz will work here, but you just know that you have nobody in the flat. So maybe you want to spread out to that flat, right? Boom, blitz screams. So again, this is a very malleable and flexible defense. It changes based off of offensive personnel. If you have a specific offense you're struggling against, let me know in the comments and I'll show you guys how I like to shut it down. But without further ado, that's all I got for you guys. I'm out.